Hello and welcome to Bizburgh. I'm your host, John Hall. Today, the program is sponsored by City Mission of Washington, Pennsylvania. You can look for City Mission online at citymission.org. With us right now is the president and the CEO of the City Mission, Dean Gartland. Dean, friend, welcome back. How are you on this day?
Well, it's good to be here, John. Thank you for having me again. And we're living in uncertain times, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Strange days indeed, Dean. They truly are. And, I greatly admire the work that you're doing because, you're on the front lines, and a lot of people have the luxury, I would say, of working from home. But you and all the staff, and of course the clients that are at City Mission, you're there and you're face to face every day. So that presents its own unique forms of challenges. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But I don't want to presuppose that anybody has any knowledge of what the City Mission is all about, your history, and the work that you do. So let's talk about that, Dean. Tell us the story of City Mission and your work in Washington, Pennsylvania.
Well, the City Mission's been around since 1941 and actually was started by a local pastor slash businessman who had witnessed a gentleman being put out of a local bar and put out on the street, and he just had a burden for this gentleman, saying, just really wishing that there was a place for someone like that to go to get help, so that he didn't have to live like this. And so that kind of really was the birth of the City Mission in Washington back in 1941. And it started off very small, but has grown over the years, of course. And today, the City Mission operates 4 shelters. We have a shelter for homeless men, a shelter for veterans that's relatively new, opened in 2018 on our campus, a brand new facility. We have a shelter for single women without children, and we also have a shelter for women with children. And so those 4 shelters usually stay full pretty much. During this period of time, it's been a little bit challenging for some of these shelters because where people are not moving, there's no transition of people moving around. With the moratorium on evictions, a lot of folks are still in their units, whereas many folks who get evicted from their apartments end up coming to us. And so that's slowed down the process a little bit, as well as some of the treatment centers that have folks that need to go somewhere and don't have a place to go. They usually send them to us, and then of course the street homeless, so those are living out in the woods, and everybody's a little hesitant about going into any facility that has a congregating of people because of this virus. So
Sure.
things are a little slow at the moment, but we still have quite a number of people that call City Mission home at night. But we also have a medical clinic that operates 5 days a week, and so everyone who comes to City Mission is screened medically, and all of our medical services are free to those that are residing here at the Mission. And we also operate what we call Samaritan Center, which is free food bags to areas homeless and low-income folks that live in the Washington area, so they can get pantry food items, bags of food that they can get every week, and to help supplement what they may not be able to purchase. We also operate 7 thrift stores, as well as a distribution center, which is where we go out. We have trucks to go out and collect furniture and clothing and household items, and so we bring it to our distribution center where it's sorted, taken to our stores, and it's resold, and it's a way to be able to help fund our operations here at the Mission. And so it is quite a undertaking. We do have a food service here on site, so we do 3 meals a day for our residents as well as those in the community. Again, those are things that are free to our community, And under this COVID situation, we really can't have people in our kitchen or in our dining area from the outside. So we've been providing meals out through the back of our facility. People can still come, breakfast, to lunch, dinner, and still get a clamshell of food that they'll be able to take with them, and to make sure that they are getting fed every day. So it is quite an operation every day. There's a lot of activity on the city mission on our campus. But I am very pleased to say that we have implemented some real precautionary measures to make sure that our staff and our residents stay safe from this virus. And at this point, all through the since March, there's been no positive cases on our campus, and so for that we're truly grateful.
That sure is. Well, Dean, I mean, to hear you describe the day-to-day operation and all the different people that you serve and all the work that's being done, you personally at the helm of all this, when your head hits the pillow, you either sleep like a baby because you're so exhausted, or you must stay up all night long because you're so anxious about what lies ahead.
Well, I wish I could get a full night's sleep sometimes, because that would be really beneficial.
I bet.
But the challenges that we're facing through all this has really does take its toll on our staff, and every day that they come in. I mean, our staff has families, and so they come here to work, and there's obviously a lot of concern, anxiety around these kinds of things, but the assurance and that they have about we've taken all these steps to make sure that people are staying safe, and we have mandatory masks that everybody has to wear while they're on campus. They get their temperature taken when they show up for work. So before they go to their offices, they have that taken. We mark everything down, what their temperatures are, turn it in, and we turn it into our medical clinic. So we have taken a lot of steps to make sure that our residents are staying safe from this virus, as well as our staff. And we do have some volunteers on campus as well, and so they also have to follow the same protocols as our staff are following. So we are really grateful that we are in a place like this where we can stay safe. But it does challenge us both from a financial perspective, because as we move forward, there's many of the activities or events that we would have that help support what we do. We've had to move into a whole different way of thinking about them, from Thanksgiving, where again it's usually such a festive time here at the mission, where we're able to just have people come in off the street and just really have a great opportunity to serve them, as well as to bring the gospel message to them. This year, we have a real challenge with that, since we are permitted to actually allow folks from the outside to be in our dining room. And that's created a challenge for us spiritually, in terms of our ministry element, of really being able to minister the gospel to those on the outside. But we're getting creative in our thinking about how to make sure that is happening, because that is our calling, is to share Christ. And so we're not forsaking that at all. Keep everybody safe and preach the gospel. That's what we're doing.
Amen to that. Fabulous. Feed everybody, house everybody, keep everybody safe, and preach the gospel. Dean Gartland is with us from City Mission. You want to look at City Mission online, look at their website, the excellent work they do, and be part of this large army of people, those who are doing their very absolute best, stewards of Christ. citymission.org is on the web right now, citymission.org, or you want to call 724-222 8530. That's 724-222-8530. As you hear Dean talk, there's a great need, obviously. Volunteer hours, of course, that big muscle of the financial help, because the work that's needed is fueled by a lot of money. They're not taking government money here. This is all self-sustaining. So be part of this, citymission.org. Dean, I always love it, because when you come and join us and we have these conversations, you bring a resident along, someone who's been through the process. And today you've got someone who's been with you for a while.
Yes, I've brought Tim with me, and Tim is one of our residents on our veterans shelter, and so Tim has quite a story that he's anxious to share with you.
Very nice. Hey, Tim, welcome to Bizburgh. Happy that you're here with us
No,
today.
thanks.
Listen, as we get started, yeah, Tim, as we get started, why don't you tell us your story? I mean, I think that, the story of a person and how they've lived their life and then what's happened to them and where they are now, always interesting to me. So welcome, and why don't you join us and tell that story?
Okay, thank you. I came to the mission initially in August of 2018 after fracturing a hip while drunk. I developed a bone infection, had to go back to physical rehab for a few weeks. But I came here permanently in October of 2018. Nice. I'd worked in a ancillary education field support for 20 years in the South Hills School District, and family issues, family member becoming sick, and then personal relationship issue. I succumbed to the call of alcohol, and I really hit rock bottom. And said when I broke my hip in July of 18, when I went to physical rehab, I had nowhere to go from there, and I'd heard of the mission, and I requested that I be able to come here. And Doug Bush and JT, they facilitated my coming here, and then from there I transitioned into the Crabtree Vet's house.
Fabulous. All right, so Tim, talk us about that. So your life, drinking. Go back and tell that story. I mean, was it always one of those things? I mean, myself, for a lot of people, right? It starts off as casual drinking. You get together and you have a few beers, but then it becomes something else, and you become a functioning alcoholic. Things happen in your life as a direct result of that, and then sooner or later you find yourself out on the street. I mean, it's kind of like the story that you just told. At the lowest, did you have any connection at all with God?
I was raised Roman Catholic. I have 12 years Catholic education. So I still, even at my lowest point, I still had contact. I still had some faith. Otherwise, I think I would have taken my own life.
I get that.
But
sure.
Knowing that I still had that kernel of faith left in me and the trust that things would work out. And that's another reason why I wanted to come here to the mission, because it is a Christ-based facility. Right. And when you come here, and I tell new guys come here, number one, this isn't a homeless shelter. It's so much more than that. It's a place to rebuild yourself, mind, body, and soul. And it really is if you let it. If you meet them not even halfway, if you just set a foot in the door with a little bit of willingness, you can come so far.
Okay, so now here you are. You walked in the mission in 2018. Here it is, 2020. Talk about your walk now. I mean, where are you? Are you sober? What about your relationship with Christ? All those things together. I
haven't had a drop of alcohol since July 6th of 2018. And nice. I think God laid his hand on me the night I broke my hip. I've had no desire. Fabulous. And my relationship with the Lord has really become a lot stronger. I no longer worry because I've given myself over. I know it might not be my will. It's going to be his will, but it's going to work out for the best.
Fabulous. So when you think about the future, Tim?
The other thing I learned is I don't need much. I have no real material desires. So I look forward to being able to give back to the mission in some capacity. I've been working the past 2 years in the custodial department, and hopefully I'll be able to maintain some sort of, relationship with the mission in that respect. He said, at my age, I'm not planning a family or anything. I have no family locally, and this is basically my family now.
Right. So the good news is you want to stay close. You're sober. At some point, you leave the mission and you get yourself an apartment or a house, and you're out and self-sustaining once again.
Oh yes, that's the ultimate goal. That's the goal, not only the Veterans House, but the mission as a whole, to enable people to heal and then transition back into society, independent living.
Hey, this is Bizburgh. I'm John Hall. Thanks for coming along today. We're talking with people from City Mission. Dean Gartland has been with us. We're talking to a resident of the mission, Tim, who's telling his story of experience, strength, and hope. So, Tim, talk for a second about the Vets House, because as Dean said, this is a fairly new creation. It's got to be interesting to be surrounded by other men who have, so much in common as you've served our country and have found themselves in a precarious situation. So you lean on each other in a way.
Absolutely, we do. It's a 22-bed facility, and the reason they chose 22 beds is an average of 22 veterans commit suicide daily. And we have 2 floors, 2 residential floors. The medical clinic is in the first floor, and there's 11 beds on each floor. We have a 4-bed quad where the veterans initially come into, and they transition into a private room. We have 7 private rooms on each floor. Each floor has a living area, kitchenette, flat screen TV, have a laundry that's available free of charge. We're responsible for our own laundry. We have a shower facility. We have our med lockers, and we also have responsibilities as well, maintaining the place in a tidy, orderly fashion, as well as our living areas, and it's really great. We have classes twice a week. Pastor Lance Whitlock, actually, we have a class with him this afternoon at 1, which is a Bible study. We just finished a study in the story of Joseph.
Nice. Well, Tim, I mean, it's got to be something to look at yourself in the mirror now, right? I mean, you're a new creation. Your self-respect is back. You've got a relationship with Jesus. You're on a different path than you were just a few years ago.
Absolutely. When you give yourself up to the Lord, it opens so many new doors. And when you realize that anything that you achieve is done through His grace, the first thing you have to do is have humility. To me, pride is the deadliest sin. And when you think that you do something on your own, that's when you're going to really fall on your face. When you're in any sort of substance abuse, you're worshiping a false idol. And like I said, I've been able to heal mind, body, and soul. My faith is so much stronger now.
Fabulous. Well, Tim, it's been a pleasure for me to hear your story, and I appreciate the courage for you to come on the radio and talk about this, to share your experience and strength and hope with other people. So my goal always is, as we talk like this, there are people who are like-minded, who are alcoholics or addicts, who are out there, and hopefully by hearing your story, they themselves are encouraged to make proper changes and to come to Christ and rid themselves of their addictive lifestyle. So thanks so much, Tim. I really appreciate to hear that story.
Okay, thank you for having me.
My pleasure.
Take care. God bless.
There's Tim. God bless you. He's a resident right now at the City Mission in Washington, Pennsylvania. So as you hear the story, if it's you or someone you love who is wrapped up in the snare of addiction or alcoholism, I'd encourage you to check out City Mission. Look for them online. It's citymission.org, or by calling 724-222-8530, 724-222-8530. I mean, it's different. Certainly, we appreciate all the different ministries or all the different homeless ministries that are out there, but there is something that's really unique about City Mission and the way that they minister to men and women, primarily through Christ, in Christ, that changes the heart and mind forever. Dean Gartland's back with us. Dean, I mean, again, you hear that story, you're doing something right. So those sleepless nights, all that busy time, you see how God is moving through you and through the work that the mission does.
Well, and that is what the whole reason why we're here, and this whole reason why God has called this ministry into existence is that people not only need food and shelter, which is primary, obviously, to their healing, but they need a spiritual food. They need to be fed spiritually. They need a life-changing experience. And so here at the City Mission, this is one of the things that we really try to provide an environment where people can come in. We don't, shove it down their throat, but as some people say, but we present an opportunity for men and women to really examine their own spiritual life, to be able to take a look in the mirror and say, what have I done, and how can my life be different? And so we give them that opportunity to come to know Christ in a very personal and real way. And then when they make those commitments, and when they make that decision to follow Jesus, and they start reading His Word, and they start applying His Word to their lives, I mean, a whole new life begins to transition for them. And I hear story after story after story where people come in and say, Dean, if this place was so different than any other rehab that I've been in, or any other place that I've gone, there's something totally different here. And when I made a decision to follow Christ, things just started changing for me. And so that is what keeps me going. That's what wakes me up in the morning and allows me to come into the City Mission and put forth my best effort to make sure the City Mission is funded and equipped to be able to carry out this ministry.
Fabulous. Okay, Dean, so you bring up a key word here, which I'm glad you said, funding, right? The funding of the work that's being done. Now, what's unique about you is, for many years, people think, well, the government's going to take care of you. They'll write you a check. Well, you don't go that route. You exist solely on people stepping forward in the neighborhood or across the radio audience or whatnot, being part of the work that City Mission does. Now, I know that, in this COVID era that we're in, the biggest event of your year, which is Sweet Sunday, that's probably not going to happen. You're probably going to do some sort of virtual work. So here we are, towards the end of the year, and, you're thinking about people perhaps giving, looking at their taxes and whatnot. That there are people who hear the call and are generous and kind with Christ in the middle. So can you just talk about that and make the appeal that someone's out there, more than just one person, multiple people who could have something to help equip and engage alcoholics and addicts, whether they're men or women or people in families, and the work that City Mission does?
Well, yeah, this is obviously a critical time for many nonprofits, but for the City Mission, this is just a time where we're kind of stuck. We can't really do a lot of events like we would do, and because of this virus, and so having very limited activities or events outside of the mission where we can actually draw people, donors, to be able to see what we do and engage in what we're doing. It's created a whole different kind of approach for us. And so we are kind of depending on those who have given in the past. We're depending on those who may be new and not sure about where to put their philanthropy dollars. And so we are appealing to them to please consider the City Mission and their giving as we move in through these holiday season and through the end of this year, because this is what we really need to happen in order for us to be prepared for 2021. And so we got to have a very, very strong fundraising during the November, December time frame in order to make sure that we're ready to go into this next year healthier, both physically as well as financially, to be able to make sure that this mission is prepared to be able to meet the challenges of the new year.
Fabulous. So, as you hear Dean Gartland, the president, the CEO of the City Mission, and you think, wait a second, I can do something here. If you can open up your checkbook and think about those men and women who are suffering right now and be part of this ministry, we'd encourage you to check out City Mission online at citymission.org, or directly. You want to talk to Dean, I'm sure that phone is right there. He's willing to talk to whomever about whatever, especially the health and vitality of the residents in City Mission and the ministry itself. So, ministry online, citymission.org, or by calling City Mission at 724 724-222-8530, 724-222-8530. Dean, friend, always a great pleasure. God bless you and all the efforts that you do to help those people who are on the margins of society. It's God's work that you're doing. So I greatly encourage that and appreciate your time here with us.
Well, thank you, John. It's my pleasure to be here, and hopefully people will listen to the program and give us a call.
Very good. Go to your phone, 724-222-8530, online at citymission.org. This has been Bizburgh. Always, it's a great pleasure. We'll see you next time.